if you really knew how this government runs and the laws and everything like that, you would care less about your president and you would care more about your senator, your assemblyman. These are the boots on the ground. When you have an issue, you have to go to the alderman that runs your district first. You have to show up to the city halls. You have to talk to these people. You have to speak to your mayor, because those are the people who, whatever they do, it affects where you live the most.
That was Bronx voter Alan Bolden, and this is Epicenter NYC. We connect our communities to news, information, and each other. I'm your host, Amber Castillo. Voter turnout in New York City's mayoral primary was significantly higher than it was 4 years ago. But the mood on the ground wasn't one of excitement. It was often frustration. Over the past week, I've talked to voters across 4 boroughs, along with Mariana, Navarrete, Villegas, and Amanda DeJesus from the Epicenter team. What we heard again and again was this: people are fed up with rising rents, poor city services, and broken promises. But they're not giving up. They're still voting. Before we jump in, a quick message.
Hi, I'm Mariana from the Epicenter NYC team with a quick health update. Flu, RSV, COVID, and stomach viruses are creating an epidemic, making public spaces, including schools, virus hotspots. Watch for severe symptoms like vomiting, RSV's sneezing and congestion, and the flu's high fevers and fatigue. Hydration, rest, and staying home when sick help keep families healthy. Protect your community. Wash your hands, clean surfaces, and keep up with vaccines. Need more info? Email hello@epicenter-nyc.com or text 917-818-2690.
Now back to the show.
To be honest with you, I'm being real with you. I felt like this about a lot of elections for a lot of years. I just feel like a lot of people are voting party over people, and they're not really going for policies. It's more about emotions, race, and what I think is happening is both parties, they just feel like people are going to vote for the party anyway, no matter who they give them.
That was Alan Bolden. He's not particularly excited about the candidates, but he's still showing up to make his voice heard. One issue that's top of mind for Bolden, the health and safety of housing in New York City.
One issue that I'm looking at is the fact that the city needs to start inspecting these buildings harder, because I'm guaranteeing you at least 30% of these buildings in New York City are infested with mold and asbestos. And a lot of the health problems that people are facing here in the Bronx, Harlem, all over, it's because of mold inhalation. You know, when people move out, when they redo these apartments and get rid of this old lead, asbestos, and mold, they dump it wherever. So a lot of the sickness we're going through is coming from slumlords within the 5 boroughs. So I think that's a big issue, because it's affecting everybody. It's affecting health. And on top of that, you know, it puts everyone, even visitors, in danger.
In an effort to figure out which candidate will address these issues, Bolton spent hours Googling every local race. To him, elections like this are even more important than presidential elections.
Every time I vote, no matter who I'm voting for, I have to look them up, and then I have to look up videos on them. I have to look up a website for them, and then go through their policies. And that's how you get someone in the presidential office or in a senator's seat, and you're like, what the hell did I do?
Yeah.
You get misinformation, you get emotional information, and then they take away easy access to find out who these people really are and what they stand for.
Yeah.
If you really knew how this government runs and, you know, the laws and everything like that, you would care less about your president and you would care more about your senator, your assemblyman. These are the boots on the ground. When you have an issue, you have to go to the alderman that runs your district first. You have to show up to the city halls. You have to talk to these people. You have to speak to your mayor, because those are the people who, whatever they do, it affects where you live the most. The president, he needs permission to do anything in this country. He got to go to 2 houses. So I feel like people don't focus on the 2-year elections at all. And a lot of times, that's why we have crappy senators and, you know, things like that. Maybe they may care about the mayor if the names are kind of like popping out, like a Cuomo.
Right.
Or a Hochul, you know, names that they've heard before.
Are there certain national issues that are affecting how you're going to vote locally, though?
I'm not gonna vote for someone that's gonna openly, I guess, support the president we have now.
Mm.
And it's not a race thing for me. For me, what he's doing doesn't affect me directly. But I have a heart. I know the things that he's doing is affecting people around me. So I don't feel comfortable helping him hurt others.
Got it. And by things, you mean?
Right. Even deportation, even with him going after the Department of Education, everything, all of these things.
Yeah.
So I can't afford to be selfish knowing that, I have family on Social Security. I have family on food stamps, welfare, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm not going to help support someone that's out to destroy something that's basically holding people that I know up.
Yeah.
So, that's all I can do, is just vote that way, because other than that, no one really seems to really care about the specific issues that are really affecting us, because a lot of people don't know.
And again, those specific issues you were talking about, like environmental health, housing.
Things like that. Okay. Those are things that they don't know. And even if you try, I've tried to reach out to the health department and make awareness, but, it's hard.
Also in the Bronx, we met a voter named Franklin who's also focused on housing. He's retired and says the cost of living is pushing him out. Hi, quick question. We're going around trying to see how people feel about voting. Do you have strong feelings about who you're going to vote for?
Mostly I vote for Democratic.
And are there certain issues on your mind locally that you think are going to influence who you vote for?
No, because evidently sometimes it doesn't matter. Because what I may be passionate about.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm passionate about me finding me a home.
Housing. Is there a candidate that you think is going to take on the housing issues in terms of the mayor?
Everybody says what they're going to do, but it's not up to them. Look at the city council got to vote on it. Then it's zoning laws. Then economics. Because if I retire and I'm receiving X amount of money a month or a year, how can I afford a $20,000 apartment for a year?
So you think, is there any candidate or any kind of quality in a candidate that you're looking for that you think they could do what they say they're going to do in terms of housing or affordability?
I don't really think so, but then again, you never know.
Downtown on the Lower East Side, Rasheen Brantley, who works at a shelter, told us the only way to change City Hall is to back people who know struggle firsthand.
I'm not going to disclaim who I voted for, but there was nobody that everybody else is voting for. It's not the popular candidate for me. It's the person who's grassrooted and who has more interest in the people versus political coffers and helping out people who are already situated. I like the guy who's here for the little guy, because I work in a shelter. I don't see these people really helping anybody get on their feet. I want to address the cost of living. When we're going to get bring some of these groceries bills down. I want to talk about the budget cuts for education. So there's a lot of things these people got to shape up. I don't think it's going to happen in 4 years, but I don't want the same regiment that's been in there for the last 50 years that's just in there to fill their pockets. I want somebody who came from nothing and built itself up because he understands both sides. If you've been living in wealth and you went into private school, then you look at other people's problems and you feel like they're not doing enough when you don't know their circumstances and the whole totality that got them in that situation to begin with. That's what you got to look at when you choosing a politician to stand up for you. You got to look at their heart, where they come from. I don't want no more Ivy League, second, third class generation wealthy people telling me that I'm not doing enough. I'm out here 8 hours on this job, 8 hours on that job, because I come from an educational system that sucked. I don't have the background because I might be smarter than you, but you got political connections. And I'm tired of these rich people running the world, man, because they don't care about the little people. They only worry about that 1% that they're in. And there's a whole 99% that gets ostracized and forgotten when it's time to cut the pie.
Rasheen also shared his feelings about New York's still new ranked choice system.
I don't really like the ranking because it still gives people I don't want to see win. Even if I voted for that person at fifth, my fifth still counts as a vote towards him. You understand what I'm saying? I don't particularly like that. Yeah, I'm ranking choice order and who I want to, in my opinion, but my guy might not get as many votes. And this guy can get as many fifth place votes and still become the mayor. So I don't really like that. It's like the All-Star game. They're going to keep switching up, try to make it interesting and see what people do. I don't think this is going to last long, but this was the polls for this year, and I had to abide, and I went with my people.
Confusion over ranking the candidates came up in several conversations. One voter in Staten Island called the system simply dumb. Still, many New Yorkers feel a backup vote is better than giving up a vote. And rank choice wasn't the only barrier. 25-year-old Taisha hadn't voted yet when she spoke to Mariana, a colleague of mine. She blamed outreach or the lack of it.
Come to the areas that matter. Like down here on 14th Street is one place, but you have other places up in the Bronx where people really just don't know much. So if you come and you put yourself into the more, not even just like the poverty, but like the hood or like just the regular, not the big places, not the main street areas. Go where the real people, where people who are out here every day are, and ask them and speak with them and reach out to them, and they should show them their goals for the city to reach more people. I feel like people should consider everybody and not just themselves, not just their demographic or their nationality of people, but everybody, because we're all people.
Also in the Bronx, we met friends Christian and Saldana. They were skeptical about the candidates and weren't likely to cast a vote in this election.
They don't do nothing for us.
Like any candidates, that's how you
To
feel?
me, that's my feeling.
Okay.
You know, they all promise, and at the end of the day, when they get elected, they forget about you. They forget about their voters. That way. That's how I feel.
Are there any issues that'll, like if you felt like a candidate was for real on some of those issues, it would motivate you to vote?
Yes. If I do, anybody in my family would tell me, listen, they did this and this and that, and they came through, I would do it.
What about you?
You called the wrong one.
What motivated you to vote for certain
I
candidates?
just did it to do it. It didn't matter because the same old stuff was going on every 4 years or whatever. You see all this crime going on, but the police is never around. I've seen people get jumped, robbed, broad daylight.
While some New Yorkers weren't sure their vote would make a difference, others told us exactly what's at stake for them.
Vote back down! We the people! Vote back down! We the people! Vote back down!
At a No Kings rally in Forest Hills, Catherine Jarrett Coetz told us her ballot was personal and national politics played a big role. She worries that federal rhetoric, especially from President Trump, filters down, influencing how local leaders treat vulnerable groups.
I'm the proud mom of a trans child, and to have her being written out of existence by an executive order on day one was just the start of many, many things that scared me about the administration. I'm concerned about the lack of due process with ICE arrests and deportations, and just feel that I needed to be out. Voting is super important, and yeah, of course, I'm worried about our city. I'm worried about the mayor's close connections with the current mayor's close connections with the Trump administration, and so I wanted to come out and have my voice heard in early voting. Yeah, I think for me, the important thing is that I want someone who can come in and manage our city properly and fight against the Trump administration and what they're trying to do by taking away sanctuary city status, doing all sorts of things like that. I'm in education, and so ways that they're trying to get states and superintendents and things to sign on to, you will not teach about certain topics is really worrisome to me. So I'm just looking for candidates, whether it's at the local level or at the state level, who are going to stand up for what New Yorkers believe in, what most New Yorkers believe in, which is we're a melting pot here, and we really want everyone to have a right to exist, a right to due process, and to thrive. And so anyone who's standing up against what's happening in Washington is somebody that I would consider as a candidate.
Across the city, we heard the same mix of emotions: frustration, fatigue, and skepticism, but also a sense of responsibility. Many of the people we spoke with showed up to vote not because they were hopeful, but because they didn't want to give up. And while the primary narrows the field, it doesn't finish the race. The general election is Tuesday, November 4th. Early voting runs October 25th through November 2nd. To check your registration, find your polling place, or request a mail ballot, go to nycvotes.org. And for more election news, visit epicenter-nyc.com/politics. That's all for today. Thanks for listening, and thanks for supporting us as we do our best to support our community. We couldn't do it without you. Our intro music is All the Pretty Horses by Caravika. You can find more of their music on their website, linked to in our podcast description.